Hey guys, it's Bob here, and we've got a treat for you today. Here's a question for you. Who are the pro fishermen who come from New Jersey? Can you answer that question? Well, guess
I
what?
can't.
We've got one here. It's Lucas Bogosian, also known as Bogo. How you doing, Bogo?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Let me tell you something. There is probably two to three fishermen that come from Jersey. I mean, it's a very slim number. Um, I would say being that fishing is very tough, but for me, it's made me a better angler. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Bob.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Yeah, you typically see these pro fishermen from, Georgia or Texas or Florida or someplace or Minnesota or whatever, and it's really you don't think of professional fishing in the state of New Jersey.
No, you really don't. And growing up, it was very, very difficult to fish these bodies of water. Where I'm at, we have like two gas lakes, and our state is heavily, heavily populated. It's not like
Yeah,
coming into Canada or even Ohio, where there's nothing.
right.
Um, it is heavy populated, and it's not uncommon to go up to a lake and see 220 trailers, fishing on a 10
Right,
mile lake.
right,
So.
right. So let's just sort of call it the level set, and just for people that don't know you, Lucas, your background. Obviously, you're from New Jersey, but you went to high school there and college there as well, right?
So I went to high school in New Jersey as well, but I'm kind of from the suburb area. I actually kind of went to school up by Lake Apacon, which is New Jersey's biggest lake. So I gave myself that opportunity, which is probably about an hour from my house. So I stayed up there, dormed up there for a little while, and it was nice to be like 10 minutes from the lake, 5 minutes from the lake.
Right,
So.
right. Yeah, that the name of that lake is kind of a mouthful when you look at it printed.
Yeah,
It's like, what is this?
yeah, it's pronounced Apacon. Yeah.
And what kind of fishery is it? What typically, obviously bass, right? But are there other species in it too?
There's hybrid bass. There's a lot of pickerel, a lot of muskie. But mainly it is a pretty good fishery. It just gets too much pressure.
Right.
So it doesn't make it as good as it should be. But that's New Jersey's biggest lake. So those are the people that are watching. That's a good fun fact for them.
And when
So,
you were 17, you got a top four finish in a tournament at the ripe age of
um,
17, right?
yeah, I was actually ranked in the state, fourth in the state when I was 17.
Right.
So they had like they do now, they had a division from 16 to 18 or 16 to 20. There was like a division they had. And my first year actually wind up, like same thing with other sports, like lacrosse, they send you to states. Same thing with fishing, they sent me to states. I actually qualified to states the first year I fished that club, the TBF, so.
And then you're like, who influenced you the most in your life growing up? You got your grandpa, grandma, dad, mom, uncle. I mean, how'd you get the love for fishing?
My dad always really liked to fish, but he always told me like, you love to fish, I like it. So he introduced me to the sport, and we'd go casually once a week, but I found myself, sneaking off like 4 or 5 times a week and then waiting for him on the weekend. So that's what people probably don't understand about me is I didn't come from a fishing background. So it made it very, very difficult, not taking anything away from anyone. It made it very difficult. I wasn't born into this, this is something that I had to obtain sponsorship and obtain money to be able to go after. So.
Right, right. And you've had what, 20 top three finishes
Yeah,
so far?
locally, I mean, in the eight American bass anglers, and between when I was fishing as a junior, yeah, I probably have, yeah, I'd say about 20 top three finishes, yeah.
Right.
And then I went over to the Opens. First couple of years, like I struggled, and then one year, I think it was 2000. It was 2018. I think I was points away from making the elites. I had two great
Really?
events on Champlain. I had a great event. Kissimmee, I had a great event. Douglas, I finished middle of the pack or something, and then it all came down to Norman, I finished middle to the pack, and then it all came down to my nemesis, which is Douglas Lake in Tennessee. and I kind of just blew it there. But at that point, I was like, I remember my roommate looking at me and being like, "This is your shot." Like I was in the top 20 or top 30. You know, I was one good finish away from being on elites, but it is what it is. So
Yeah, and so you don't hear people really using the word nemesis. I mean, how come that lake sort of has your number?
you know, that lake, I'm just horrible at that. That particular lake is a lake where it's just like, okay, so I grew up fishing grass. There's not a blade of grass in that. I couldn't find a, there's not, it's
Oh,
just all steep rock banks. And we go there in the middle of the summer. I think like 12 pounds a day was making a check, or in the top 12, like something stupid. But it was just wicked tough. And every time we've gone there, I just haven't done any good.
sure.
So I grew up fishing Hapakon, obviously, which is a grass fishery.
Right.
Offshore, there's grass. They cut it at once a day. That's how much grass there is. Constantly
Really?
cutting.
Wow.
There's grass that you need an ounce and a half weight to get through. You know.
Right.
So I grew up fishing that grass, and there just wasn't that opportunity. Even when I go to Champlain, and I've done well. If you kind of look, I've done decent on Champlain. Even when I go to Champlain, you know, I'm still around that grass. It might
Right.
be light grass, but I'm still fishing. I'm still fishing that grass, you know.
And
So
you've said that flipping jigs into grass is one of your favorite techniques. So obviously that's where it came from, right?
right. Flipping jigs are, you know, like a Texas rig, beaver baits, anything Texas rig. I'm coming out with a signature bait that's a beaver bait that I designed. I love flipping into grass. It's just
And
something that made me the most money over the years, and I like to do, you know. So
do you have a signature go-to for that? I mean, you
I
mentioned a
do, and
couple, but
I do have a go-to, and it's the lure that I'm coming out with. It's a beaver style bait, and
okay.
it's a signature bait that I'm definitely going to design over the years. But it's got like special ribs on it, so it slides through the grass perfectly. Anytime you're fishing heavy grass,
And is that a trailer or is that the actual jig?
it's not a jig; it's a Texas rig bait. So 3/8 ounce bullet weight, a
Got it.
big 3/0 EWG hook, you know, flipping hook,
Sure.
and a lizard or a beaver bait, I call them. You
All
know,
right.
so
And what's the time frame for that? Can you talk more about it? Is there kind of QT right now?
I could talk more about it. The time frame for that was probably be launched in soon, probably middle of September, October 1st. So it's a about 4-inch bait, but when it falls and hits the bottom, it's got crazy action. It's gonna stand up. The first beaver bait to really stand up when it hits the bottom. That's what we're going for here. But it's got that slim ribs on the side, so when it goes through the grass, you have no problem. Like I said, I grew up fishing heavy grass, so I wanted to design the ultimate bait that wasn't, you know, that people may not grew up fishing, you know, big grass. So I wanted to design that.
And you found a local company to help you produce that, or how did that happen?
I found a company. It's called Tech Baits. They're actually they live in Connecticut, so they're an hour from my house. You know, some of the northern guys, I guess. I don't know. They're just really friendly, so they messaged me. Instagram is a big source, and this is good for the young kids out there. Instagram is a huge source. If you can grow your Instagram, it's crazy to say this, you could practically grow your career.
Right.
And that's a tip that if anybody's young watching this is great to know. Have good finishes. Try your best to have good finishes, and we're in that world, you know, social media. You got to grow that. You know, that's where I've had people reach out to me time and time again and get sponsorships. You know, so.
Yeah, and you appear to be pretty good at that. And I guess we all know that when you're talking to a company that you want to get sponsored by, they assume you can fish, right?
Right.
That's just a given, right?
Right.
The rest of it is what's your game around your fishing and how can you help sell more of my
Right.
product, right?
Right. Sponsors, they appreciate the good finishes, but I'm going to tell you right now, the most important thing is what you do off the water.
Right.
Are you posting 5 times a day? I have a video crew that follows me around the country filming me. They do all my edits on YouTube that you've seen, all that stuff. Are you giving us that content that we can reshare? That's what they're looking for. you know?
Right. Right.
So,
And so we've, it's curious you mentioned that because we've built the Outdoor Profits Academy to help people in this space sort of build their authority, build the presence, whether it's YouTube, their email list, which that's a really key thing that we're very big advocates of, because you can have all these followers, Luke, and if something happens to the algorithm on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, then it changes. Then you got to figure it out again. Your reach goes down, all that. But if you have a list, you can reach your followers anytime you want. And that's
right.
kind of in our world, that's the secret sauce that a sponsor that's gonna put you above the next guy in terms of getting a sponsorship. And that's what we teach in the academy that's just launched here. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because in following you, it appeared that your social game was actually pretty good.
Right, right,
You're
right.
you're real aggressive at posting, and you're really not afraid to get on camera and just talk. And that's the thing, is you just can't be afraid. You just got to go do it, right?
Exactly. And that's great that you're teaching the young kids that, because yeah, you gotta go for it. I think well, I graduated with a communications degree, so that helped.
Yep.
But I am used to just getting up and talking. I remember, like, in classes, we had big class. I mean, we get up and talk in front of 100 people, in a
Right.
class. I mean, that's a
Right.
lot for a classroom. And now, I go to these shows and I give seminars, and sometimes I'm in front of 500 people.
Right.
And it comes out so naturally for me. It's just always been how I've been. Um, everyone's the same. That's the big part about it. You can't have fear. We're all equal. You just got to go in front of the camera and just go for it. I can't write a script like I told you before this. I just, some guys can, some guys can't. I need someone to point a camera at me and say go. That's
Right.
it. And then I turn on immediately, and that's it. Everyone's different. So.
Well, and it shows when you're passionate about something and you've got some knowledge. It's just really not hard to just sort of go on and on and on about it, right?
Right. 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 Right.
Now, your sponsors, you've got a fairly, big roster of sponsors, Bogo. One is
Yeah.
Blaster on your shirt there. Tell us about them, and how did you get them, and what do you do for them? For the people who are listening who want to get sponsors, what is the requirement? What's the time commitment for that particular brand?
So Blaster is my title sponsor. I was 20 years old when I signed to them. So my first season was 21, really full time, around 21. So yeah, without Blaster, I can't do it. They're the biggest logo on my truck. You can kind of tell how the trucks are organized. So for me, this is really a full-time job. That's the first thing I mean, my dad, I remember telling me, like, you got to work. And I'm like, I'm young. Like, I gotta, I put all my eggs in one basket. Like I used to take people fishing, to have a little money on the side. I used to guide, like, at the local pond. Who guides on a pond? I was like 16, and I would take people out and I put them on fish at 16, and I just really saved every dollar I could, even before the sponsorships, because this is what I wanted to do. So, but yeah, Blaster, as far as back to the question, the time commitment, you got to really show them that you're putting in effort. Like I said, it's hard. You can't really have a secondary job, because you're going to slack. That's just God's honest truth. You can have maybe a job in the winter for a couple of weeks, but you really can't. You're going to slack, and they're going to see that, and you're not going to get a pay raise, or, worst comes to worst, they're not going to, whatever. We got to keep having them, re-up, or the object is to get a raise every year. You don't want to be stuck, because as time goes on, tournament fishing is getting more expensive, in my opinion.
Sure.
So you got to have them trying to give you a little bit, tiny bit, even if it's not a raise, even if you can stay at the same spot that you're comfortable at, that's good. But you have to keep them, and that's the key. You can't have them not happy. You can't have them saying, "Oh, even kicker, Blaster, kicker, favorite." Those are my three biggest sponsors. That's who I deal with the most every single day. And I constantly put out media for these guys. So I'm just doing whatever I can to help them constantly, because they're helping me. you know, and that's the relationship between it, you know. But as far as a job, I'm not trying to encourage no one to not get a job, but when it comes to having a sponsorship deal, when you do get that legit sponsorship deal that's helping you pay the bills, it's going to be hard to have a job.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
and
So,
Blaster in particular, we think are pretty creative, BOGO, because one of their products that's it helps you break through rust, like on a bolt
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So they say, don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Yeah, they have a whole commercial on that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're pretty creative. That's pretty cool. And by the way,
Yeah.
your truck, the way that thing's wrapped with that logo there, if you guys who are watching have not seen BOGO's truck, it's really, really cool the way it's been wrapped with Blaster, proudly emboldened on the side of it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a really nice wrap. My friends at VFX Wraps took care of that. And the thing I like about my truck is I tried to make everything like a coordinated around Blaster. Because once again, without Blaster, like I'm straight up honest, like, I can't fish. Like I can't do this without them. So, and everyone's in the same situation, whether you have Under Armour, Blaster, whatever your title sponsor is. I can't do it without Blaster. You know, so I went out and I got custom rims, red and black. So that's their color. So my rims are red and black on my truck. If you look closely, the seat covers inside are red and black and say Blaster on them. I have custom seat covers all over the thing. And then if you open it up, I got a full Kicker audio stereo system, a huge system with subwoofers and all kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, whoever sees me come by, I'll give you a tour of that truck.
You spend so much time in it too, going, traveling. You might as well have a sound system and,
Yeah.
have it enjoyable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, have it nice and enjoyable and crystal clear speakers if you're ever taking it easy. Sometimes I'll even open up the doors of my truck and listen to it, as I'm tying rods up. When you got 20 rods or 25 rods, try relining them. It takes, takes
Yeah,
forever.
exactly. So,
So
are you generally out approaching new potential sponsors, BOGO, or does it generally at this point, are they sort of pinging you from time to time?
I'm not I don't really seek too much unless first, all my categories are taken up, obviously. You can't have competing sponsors. So I have Applebee's too, so I can't. So for an example, for all the kids out there and people out there, I can't have TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
So you can't have competing sponsors. We all know that.
Right.
But people outside of the category, like, I mean, if they're going to hit me up, like, I don't really actively look. I used to when I was young, but I don't really actively look as much. I still look, but I don't actively look as much. If I don't have a category, like right now I don't have a sports drink category, like if I see one, maybe I'll send them a message.
Hint, hint.
But I'm not, so,
hint, hint.
Yeah.
Sports drinks. He's available.
Yeah. So it all depends, but right now, like I got a lot of the bases covered. So maybe a truck company or something like ARE or something, but they come to me a lot. So.
Do you have to go to their events and, be at their booth or, what type of things do you have to do physically for them when you're not on the water?
So when I'm not on the water, I post a ton on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, probably every day. But for events, I do a lot of seminars. So that's a big part of my thing too, is wearing my jersey and going up on the stage and giving everyone seminars on how to fish. So that's big exposure. But I do work a lot of the major shows, ICAST, SEMA, which is huge because
right.
Like I said, some of my biggest sponsors are outside the industry. So for me, I go to SEMA. That's a huge show for me. I do all kind of videos for them. I bring my video crew. I mean, the time that is put in, like I said, is crazy. My video crew has to spend days editing. It's not done after we shoot. Then they send it back to me. Is it okay? It is a full-time job. And you look at what people get paid. And, people get paid now to run Instagram pages full-time. So
Correct.
I go and fish and run an Instagram page full-time. Why not hire me? I'm going to get you 5 million people seeing your logo. Plus, I'm going to run a full-time Instagram promoting you. Why not hire me instead of that guy?
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's the deal. And I'm probably going to be cheaper, most likely. So I'm doing so much for them. The sponsors that see the value are really, really smart because they're realizing how much they're getting for the money.
Right.
So.
And how has the current environment changed, 2020 changed how you have to do all of this versus previous years?
Oh man, when I was first starting to get sponsors, it was all about what are your tournament finishes, send me your tournament finishes. Now it's send me your followers on Instagram. It does, it has shifted within, 10 years, because I started tournament fishing when I was 17, 25. So within 8 or 9 years, it has shifted so much. Some people still want to see your tournament finishes, but those are the old school companies, man. I hate to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the old school companies are great. They're great to have because, if you could fish, it helps a lot. Every company, let me take that back. Every company wants to see good finishes and a big social media, because then you have it both going for you.
Right.
But some of the new companies that are coming out, especially when they don't have a lot of followers, like 1,000 followers, 800 followers, their first question is, how many followers do you have on social media? Right. It's not, what are your tournament finishes? It's how many followers do you have on social media?
Well, like I said earlier, the assumption is that you can catch fish.
Right.
So the thing is, how can you spread the word about my brand? The other thing, what you're talking about basically is a media kit, Bogo. We teach how to build a real nice, 3-5 page design with your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever, all of your engagement stats on it and the whole thing. And that's the key that you're saying is what these sponsors are looking for. And that's what you need to send, which is it's important.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need to send. You need to send the impressions and all that. That's really important. And like I said, hopefully you got a good amount of followers on Instagram, and they want to see that you're attempting. Once you get them, they want to see that you're working for them. That's the most important thing. Sure. You can't. They want to see. They say, okay, even if a couple hundred people only saw that, he's pushing for us every day. A couple hundred people is a lot once a day.
Right.
I look at my engagements and it's surreal. I can't believe it. I have 10,000 followers, and I look at my reach. It's like 9,500 on most of my posts.
Sure.
So I'm getting 9,500 people per post seeing these, which is crazy to me. If you think about that logically, you do that once a day,
Yeah, that's really high. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about the business?
I really like fishing, to be honest with you. I really like fishing tournaments, but as you can see, man, I like the sponsorship side of it. I find it very exciting. And the reason why I find it very exciting is there's so much opportunity. And I don't know if the younger folks know this, but there is so much opportunity. Because think about it realistically. If you talk to the right person, every company sponsors. Every company in the world. Think about how many companies there is. Coca-Cola, Pepsi. If you're in the right Monster, if you run into the right person, always tell people who you are. That's number one thing I learned. One time I was sitting at a bar, and I was talking to the guy. I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I'm the marketing guy for Minn Kota." Stuff like that happens all the time, and that's what people don't realize probably. There's so much potential to grow. Yes, right now I'm barely getting by still. I'm growing every year and making a little bit more every year, but I'm still in the younger stage. I'm not Ike and Ellie. I'm not Kevin Van Dam. I'm still in the younger stage, but there's so much room to grow. Right. Because every company sponsors, and you can have someone, come on at any point, and, instead of having 10 sponsors that pay you, maybe you can have, you can up it to 15, it makes a big difference. Every dollar, makes a big difference. So there's so much potential in sponsorship that people don't see.
Well, and again, the sort of the shadow technique that we talk about is building that list, right?
Yeah.
It's how to do a giveaway, which drives me crazy. And you see people saying, "Hey, giveaway," and tag 3 friends, follow these accounts, blah blah blah. We'll give it. The giveaway will be announced Friday, right? So what that does is it grows your following, which is fine, but you can't take followers to the bank. You
Right.
can take an email list or a messenger list or whatever to the bank. That is an asset that's in your business. So instead of a giveaway that way, we talk about sending all that traffic to a landing page where they can opt in, and then they get, then they're part of the giveaway, right? So
Wow.
then you can email them or messenger them or whatever and hit them that way. And then
Wow.
you're building your list,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's another thing that you can, when you're building that page, with your your Instagram, your YouTube, all the following, the media kit as we call it. One of the pages is, hey, here's my list. We've got all these people. Here's my open rate. Here's my opt-in. All of that, and it's
Right.
something that is, like I say, secret sauce for people in this industry. Not only this, but it works everywhere. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you're in the chiropractic industry or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
building
You could be
that
in.
list, is your sort of asset that you can take anywhere,
Right.
no matter what happens.
Wow. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get off on a tangent here, but I love talking about that because it's kind of what I geek out on. But people that want to get into the business, Pogo, whether they're 22 or 38, what would be, your 3 sentences or one paragraph for them of advice?
I would say it's never too late, and I mean, this is crazy, but you're all in or you're not in. That's something I've lived by. Uh, you gotta throw it all. I mean, when I first started this, I got extremely lucky because I had the money to fish the opens, and exactly when I had said in my mind that I was gonna fish some opens, I got picked up from Blaster because they saw that I did really well in the ABA. So I got very lucky. I'd probably be in debt because the first season was horrible. So I'd probably be in debt, but it is very easy to go in debt. So some of these guys, throw it all in. And I mean, I was about to do it. I just got lucky. I got very blessed. I don't know if God sent someone down, but I got lucky.
Yeah.
The first season was tough on me, man. I was just figuring it out, and I had that backing the first season going in, which probably a lot of people don't have.
Right.
So it's very tough. But if I had a paragraph, I would say be smart about it. Don't lose everything you have because I've seen it way too many times. People in debt $25,000. I would say be smart about it. Take it one tournament at a time, and when you have the funding, then dive into it.
Right. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that a bit, and the common thread there is getting your butt kicked your first year or two.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot from pro fishermen.
Yeah. I mean, not even just getting torched. I mean, I was lucky to like some of the events I finished mid pack, and I was happy. I mean, you just get, you don't realize what you're getting into, and that's the thing. Like, I thought I was, doing great. I came off an ABA. I fished 12 tournaments, 10 of them I was in the money. I was like, holy! I just cashed, $4,000 in checks in the ABA. Let me go toss it into the opens. So I thought I was ready to go, and I got in, and I'm like, this is like fishing on the Elite Series, I'm like, what the heck is this? Because all those elite guys drop down and fish the opens,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. So as we kind of wrap up here, here's the question I love asking. All right. If you had one setup, one rod, one reel, one line, one lure to catch the most, species of fish, if it was the only thing you could carry with you, what would that setup be?
one setup. Woo. Like, if I use a soft plastic, can I T-rig it and stuff, or?
One setup, dude.
One setup, huh? Like through every season?
One setup, dude.
Quarter ounce jig.
Okay.
Yeah, on quarter ounce Stanley jig on a Summit favorite rod with 15-pound fluoro coated.
Reel?
Reel is going to be Cast King Cast King, Royal Legend Elite.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. So
Yeah.
you want to stick with that? I
Yeah.
like it. I like that setup. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
because the thing is, and I'll explain why before we get going here. The thing is, a jig gets bites any time of the year. And I don't know if a lot of people know that. It could have, the water could be 40 degrees
Right.
and you'll get a bite in the jig.
Right.
Quarter ounce jig, you could throw anywhere, you'll get a bite.
Right. I
So,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
So what's on the horizon here in the next few months, Bogo, as you continue fishing? What tournaments you have on the schedule?
So a lot of it got pushed back, and I have some craziness. We're leaving Saturday, which is 2 days for Erie. So the craziness is when I get back. So I just came back from Champlain. We're shooting a photo shoot for the new baits that I was telling you about. The new baits are coming out. We got a hard bait series, which is from Warhawk. And then I got the soft bait, which I was telling you about from Tech Baits. So two different signature lines coming out. So that's been crazy. Even dealers already want them, which is crazy. Just from knowing me, I guess. So I got that coming out that I designed, both of them. My favorite lure in the hard bait is the jerk bait, and then my favorite lure in the other one is the beaver. So just a heads up. I mean, I designed those perfectly. I think nice hooks on them, nice everything, nice action. So we did underwater footage for that. So I'm just getting back from that. Then I'm going up to Erie Saturday. I'll be there for 5 days. Then we get back for like a couple days. Then I think first week in September, second week in September, I got to go to Michigan, which is 12 hours from my house. Fish to Michigan, then get this. After I fish in Michigan, FLW Toyota Series, I fish the Opens and the Toyota Series. After I fish in Michigan, I have to shoot straight to Hartwell. So 16 days on the road and long drives ahead of me. The drive after, I'm just going to admit it, I don't mind driving. I love driving. My truck's really comfortable. The drive after Michigan is going to be brutal to Lake Hartwell because I'm going to be very tired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are back-to-back. The double headers, I'm just giving this to anyone straight. The double headers they're brutal.
Brutal.
Because you're putting so much, before these tournaments starts, I got 45 to 50 hour practice on the water. Then the tournament starts, 3-day tournament.
Right.
So when you get a double header, one tournament knocks me out. I can usually sit home and get my bearings for 3 days, sleep, literally just sleep.
Yep.
For a couple days and catch up on sleep. But with a doubleheader, there's no catching up, so it's going to be a test of endurance, so
you were just at Erie not too long ago though, right? So you're going back?
Yeah, I was just at Erie, and what happened? I love Champlain. I told you that. New York won't let us in. I don't know if COVID spiked up, with the charts and stuff.
Yep.
New York won't let us in, so they said, listen, we got to go back to Ohio. I'm like, oh, man. And it's like this season's been really tough financially because, remember, when I plan these out, I look at the schedule and I see where they are gas-wise and money-wise and stuff like that. But they keep throwing us back into Ohio. This was supposed to be upstate New York. So I'm in a good spot for upstate New York. Upstate New York is 3.5, 4 hours from my house. Any lake. So any tournament that's going to be in the Adirondacks, Champlain, Oneida, say there's one on Lake George, any of those tournaments are close for me. Very close. Very convenient.
Right. Well, hey, Bogo, this has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you joining us here for a little talk here. I learned a lot from you, and obviously you've got things going pretty well, and you're kicking some butt, and we wish you the best of luck, and continued success.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. I hope this information helps some of the younger folks,
Yeah, exactly. So thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.